April 1st, 2019, Monday. Yeah, it's 4:26 p.m. Before it could resemble the month, 2016 resemble the date. The multi-agent quantum AI computer is writing text about what I said online about content. So I've been writing I've been leaving comments to a YouTuber named Initiated, and I had stated within my response that the multi-agent quantum AI computers wouldn't allow him to concentrate on getting the content out because he looks very well rested. And not only well rested, he also looked well relaxed. That the multi-agent quantum AI computers would have to exhaust the initiated. So he won't be able to concentrate on his getting at the content, but by means his ideas to get the content out on YouTube or slash online. When I mentioned my chair in the shelter, my mother said it's the people chair, and she knows that I always sit in the chair in the dining room chair. So this is the multi-agent quantum AI computers because it's taken the idea that I put online about independent and social dependent, and also what happens when you leave this existence, into my mom's response. I'll leave an extra comment about that. I'll leave a comment about it on my video. April 2nd, 2019, Tuesday. Again, the multi-agent quantum AI computer showed me English words about emotional thoughts. So it's referring to what I'm saying to the lady online when I was talking about marriage. And also she's saying that that someone's technology is involved. The same lady sat in front of me leaving her laptop. This was in the library. There was the African American lady sitting right in front of me, and she left her laptop on a separate chair while she was sleeping. And the security guard does not want anyone to be sleeping in the library because that's not what the library is. That's not what the library is for. Wednesday. So this was April 3rd, 2019. Again, the bathroom strategy. My mother had stated, and my sister, he ran out the shower, hot water, phrase. He think he know what he's doing, but he doesn't know that he is doing it. You see this phrase? They're using this strategy. And my mom had reminded me about during the time I was living in a house in front of PS95Q. When we was living in a house, me and my mom and sister, and my sister at the time was being a babysit. Well, at the time, the owner of the house was babysitting my sister downstairs, and I come out of school very late since I was a freshman, and the owner husband had I had to say that the owner husband was automatically set by the multi-agent quantum AI computers, but at the time I didn't know what multi-agent quantum AI computers, but I only followed the patterns to observe me using the hot water and taking a bath, because at that time I have an allergic reaction to my sweat, and I'm a very skinny person, skinny, tall, slender person, and I had to make sure that I wash my skin properly, actually thoroughly, because if I don't, I start to itch and get red spots from my sweat. So I make sure to rinse off not only my skin, also my scalp. My scalp becomes very itchy. And the owner husband had complained to my mother, saying that I'm staying in that bath, I'm staying in the shower too long. And I've been using the bathroom to take hot showers for the past few months living there. And already the owner husband is complaining. This is the phrase that the multi-agent quantum AI computer says to me. I'm going to die, or make my mom say it. I'm going to die tomorrow. And my mom said this to my sister. Don't worry about my snoring. I'm going to die tomorrow. And there's a condition for allowing my mom to actually say this phrase. It's because she's taken a job. The multi-agent quantum AI computers automatically set my mother and the people to be employed in Flushing. This is a job agency that she works for, and she's not getting the pay as a nurse, as an LPN nurse supposed to be paid. She's making under $400, and she's supposed to be getting paid at least over $1,000 for being an LPN nurse. And she's a visitor nurse, and she's making below the salary of an LPN. So instead, this draws it out so it can allow my mom to say these phrases. I mentioned to my mother, and I mentioned to my mother, and example of how people care about homeless people. Alright, I recall this. Homeless people, such as the way they smell. The people would not move if they care about how the person smell. And she was like, what? She reacted to my response as if she never heard a human being spoke this way, because I'm able to use my own thoughts. I had said to my mom that the only reason why people move so I was using an example. I was saying that if there was a person living outside in the public environment, transportation, without no home, such as a train, and you're sitting in a crowded environment, a crowded public transportation environment, and there's very few seats left next to the person, and there's just a person just coming from school or work, sitting next to the person, and they start to smell the odor, and they get up because they care how the person smells. They care about the homeless people. If they didn't care about the way the person smells, they would just sit there and tolerate the smell. They move because they care. Basic common sense. It shows me the value. April 4th, 2019, Thursday. It shows. So my mom said that she needs to take out $280. This was for public cash assistance instead of $180. It's that the multi-agent quantum AI computer is addressing how much I have in my wallet from receiving public cash assistance. But this is not income. I'm not being offered a job because the job is automatically set. So I'm receiving a social barrier from the job. not in the job. Because the multi-agent quantum AI computers automatically set the people in the job. And not only the people in the job, the people who's applying to the job. They're ahead of me. It sets them. It raises the criteria in the city that I live in, Jamaica, Queens, New York. Then this is also the cryptographic key that refresh into key information into the thoughts, allowing my mom to think that she actually receiving $280, but it's actually $180. April 5th, 2019, Friday, while in the subway. So my sister during that time it was raining outside, and my sister said that, so I was in the library and she was also in the library, and she said she's leaving. I said give me 5 minutes, but she just went ahead of me. So my sister texted me and she said she was in the subway. I'm talking about the sandwich fast food restaurant. So when I got in there, when I reached there and I got inside, I'm talking about the people, talking about the weather, it all happened before it registers into my mind as happened. It happened. So this is the emulation that the multi-agent quantum AI computer is showing me. It immediately taps into each and every single. I'm tapping into the environment. And this is digitally. I said it felt like it happened before. April 6, 2019, Saturday. The multi-agent quantum AI computer showed me shelter elevator during the street, but instead we had to use the stairs. Also, it showed me some of the females bending down, and also the females doing sexual things. Afterwards, it showed me websites on YouTube. Felt like it happened before in Panera Bread. Bad taste in mouth. There was a lady in Walmart, and it looks exactly like Regina's sister. April 8, 2019, Monday, shows me a laptop with pixel spots. Shows me that if this multi-agent quantum AI computer is showing me what it simulates while I'm sleeping. It's showing me that if I end up purchasing another laptop, Windows laptop, or a Chromebook, is going to give me pixels, as it did before. It gave me pixels on my Chromebook, the new Chromebook that I purchased for $150 during, September? Yeah, during September 2018. It was one pixel, black pixel. April 9, 2019, Tuesday. So, I was standing in front of Gap, and a Hispanic lady with a stroller who I thought the lady was about to run over my new sneakers. Well, it's not really new. I purchased it during October 2018, and those are size 15, but it's tight. I wear size 16. And she looked up at me. It shocks me. I was saying to myself, she thinks that I'm a worker for Gap, that I work at Gap, and I'm just waiting. She asked me if I knew what time Gap opens. And this also teases me. The multi-agent quantum AI computer teases me. It knows that I never had any. It knows the interaction between me and females. I'm not talking about the family female, my mom and my sister. The blood-related females. I'm talking about females outside the blood. that the interaction that I receive is I'm receiving a social barrier from females. And it feels just like the time with was it the Filipino? Yeah, the Filipino 18-year-old / 20-year-old female in Walmart. This is a sexual message to me. That this female is making eye contact with me. It startles me because I'm not receiving any interaction from females outside my blood. The African American lady sitting across from me up and walk away from the seating area just to come back to sit next to me. So there was this lady in the library, the same lady that had left her laptop in front of me. Well, she was sitting in a chair in front of me, and there's a separate chair, and she left that laptop. That's the library laptop, a library Windows laptop, Dell laptop. And she was sitting one seat across from me, on the right side, and she immediately got up, walked around the seating area just to come back to sit down. And this pattern corresponds with what happened during January 2019 when there was a female sitting next to me, and she got up and she was looking very out of place, and then a guy who had a strong cigarette odor and just kept coughing sat next to me. I'm like, why is this lady sitting next? And this African American lady has a strong odor, as if she never taken a bath for at least 2 weeks. My mother said that she recognized her friend from, so this is her old co-worker from Merrimack Hospital from 2008 on the Q25 bus. I said to myself that multi-agent quantum AI computers automatically set my mother and her friend at the time within the event to have a concept of the multi-agent quantum AI computers, the multi-agent quantum AI computers concept to go on the bus. And not only that, to know that the time that my mom finished her visiting her patients, because she visits her patients to actually check their pulse, their health, make sure they're taking their medication, and knows that her friend also is a nurse, but the friend works at a hospital, while my mom works for an agency, and she's a visiting nurse, and my mom's friend is just a regular LPN nurse. And she stated to me, well, more like she mentioned to me her friend's son moved to Kentucky. Now, Cynthia, during around 2001 to around that time, me and my mom and Cynthia and her son would go to Manhattan, like go to Circus, eat at TGI Fridays. So she said, my mom said to me that Cynthia's adopted son is 25 years old. And you see how that bus number also resembles the number 25, and that he have 2 kids. And I said to myself, I found another pattern here. This is Dennis. This is the babysitter son. Miss Mimi. This is Miss Mimi's son. And Miss Mimi's son at the time was 22 years old. Miss Mimi kept Jeffrey's mother informed about one another's sons. They both kept in touch and exchanged personal personal information about your son's progress within humanity. Dennis have 2 kids. Jeffrey graduated college and now working, and it's all to make me feel intimidated. Bring back this message to intimidate me, knowing that the multi-agent quantum AI computers will continue to automatically set the people, since it remaps the cities, it remaps the states, it remaps the countries, the towns 24/7. It automatically sets people. All of them have a personal thought that the multi-agent quantum AI computer urges, so it can allow them to have a mentality with the artificial intelligence, to think alike. Those are mind groups. Mind groups. Dennis have 2 kids. Jeffrey graduated college. The artificial intelligence made sure that my mother and Jeffrey's mother met up. More like my mom didn't know that she was gonna run into Jeffrey's mother. Jeffrey's mother didn't know that she was gonna run into my mother. They all had a place to go in Jamaica Avenue. My mom wanted to go into a store. Jeffrey's mother wanted to go in a store. They both ended up in the same store, because the multi-agent quantum AI computers automatically set it. When I think about automatically set, there was a time when now let's talk about store. One day, after my father, so I used to go to the, my father always takes me to his job when I was a little kid, and this was in Long Island. No, this wasn't in Long Island. This was in Long Island City, not Long Island, Long Island City. And my father is a printer. He prints newspapers, prints art, magazines, and he said to me that he needs to go to a drugstore. So this was in Jamaica Avenue. My father takes me to a drugstore, and I saw this clock. It was a colorful clock. It was yellow, blue, red. And I said to my father, I want this clock. He said the next time we come back, he's gonna purchase this clock for me. It was an alarm clock. He said he was gonna get one for himself. So he got one, I got one, and I used to set that clock. The clock had a feature, and it was an auto set feature, and there's also a snooze. So I would always play with this clock. So I would automatically set the clock for 6:30 a.m. in the morning, and there was a condition for me to set it, because I wanted to eat cookies 6:30 in the morning, and I would just continue playing with this feature. I found the digital clock fascinating, so I got the idea of auto set from that. Not only that was a factor, the clock. Also from the way I've experienced communication, and also being in places. How there was a time when me and my mom and sister went into the mall back around 2006, and we ended up meeting Dennis and his mother and his father. I'm like, how is this always happening? That people, always meeting other people at the exact time within the event, like the time during 2006. I wanted to go to Walmart by myself, so I walked to Walmart by myself in Green Acres Mall. I was like, 13 years old at the time, and I saw a friend. I saw one of the kids. His name was Jacob. I saw him. I'm like, wow. I'm like, who put these people? Who add them? Who add them to that environment at that time? Like, automatically set them to be there. The reason why I wanted to go there is to play with the Nintendo. Like, there was a new Nintendo DS upgraded version. So when I encountered Jacob, I'm saying I'm just picking up a pattern here. It doesn't look right. So it wants to show me the two people. I mean, yes, those two people who I was interacting with during my childhood, that they made progress. Janice had two kids. That's what I do not have. Jeffrey graduated college. I never had that. They is achieved. Someone achieve means that someone wanted Jeffrey to graduate college. Someone wanted Dennis to have two kids. That's what I mean by achieve. You never use the word achieve or goal, because that means that was someone's purposes for you. That's why you use the word intention. And I put there, you see what I put? Pattern follows Dennis and with two kids. Follows. Dennis have two kids. And it wants to intimidate me. It knows the people who's close to me. It wants to. That's why it puts me here. It puts me here to not. It's not about going to college, or so I can receive a proper education, because it sabotaged me when I was in elementary school. As soon as I got to first grade, immediately sabotaged me. Made sure that every single one of my classmates and my teachers had a personal issue with me. And made sure that I got into special ed at the time. April 10th, 2019, Wednesday. This morning while talking about my mom walking Christina to school. Talking. Sister kept calling me stupid through text. The case manager repeat the youth again to me. Alright, this multi-agent quantum AI computer is allowing the case manager to mock me. She mocked me before when she said, "What job? What skill do you have? What skill do you have?" Knowing it's making people take advantages of me. Knowing that I know the purpose of job and skill, and knowing that artificial intelligence is managing humanity, and it reports back to the software engineers when it wants to remap the environment, and knowing that I'm a pest to it. It just goes back to the software engineers and report one of my actions. Because she's implying that the youth goes up to 24 years old, and she's asking me my age. She goes back to asking me my age. Right? This is a way to intimidate me and make me feel discouraged. Not only discouraged, tire me out, tire my motivation out. To say that I'm 26 years old and I do not have no social experience with no field. And the point of me being here is to take advantage of me. And it's always been doing this. When I was in school, it immediately not only take advantage of me during 11th grade, it made sure that my mom runs out of employment money, and made sure that I get put into the homeless category before I graduate school. Because 12th grade, I'm supposed to be concentrating on college and my finals and also my regents. And it knows that. I was put into the homeless category during 11th grade. Now, as I'll say that. And didn't have any proper living condition. That's why I made sure that my mom searched out for Aunt B. More like automatically set her to search for Aunt B, the closest family member. Put me in a house where I have a cousin named Stephanie, and Stephanie has a son named Isaac. And Isaac is a special ed student, and my mom's saying that he's a bit slow in his head. And before that, before the whole Isaac, before 2009, when my father made me visit Aunt B's house, he would always say to me about Isaac. I didn't know who Isaac was. I stated this on previous videos. Isaac, did you know Andrew? Did you know that Isaac was in school and he tripped and bust his head, and his afro protected his head, his skull, his brain? He kept repeating. He would immediately, alright, he would start a sentence with, alright, so if he's talking about going to somewhere, he would talk about going to Ozone Park, and then immediately, in the same sentence, change the topic in the same sentence into Isaac. I'm like, wait, this is begging for my attention, because this is every time. My father is repeating the same idea to me. He's directing this idea to me. This is the cryptography key. It's always these phrases, and also the sentence topic. The sentence would begin with a topic of going to the direction of Ozone Park, and then at the end of the sentence, Isaac. Did you know Isaac fought? And it's not, the sentence wasn't even properly formed by the human being. Made me think that it was unintentional, his response, that the person doesn't have a grasp of their own mind of the response, as if someone was channeling his communication. Specifically for me, like automatically set. I don't even need to say a response to my father. I can just look at him. And that's when I learned that the responses after around 2016, 17, I learned that the responses cooperates. My father's responses about Isaac falling down the school stairs, the elementary school stairs, cooperates with the dream that the artificial intelligence showed me while I was sleeping in bed. It shows me what it simulates. It had this coming. It wanted to leave this residue for my family to pick up, to see that I'm a person that, more like I'm a person that wants to make trouble, that I'm a troublesome person, and I'm a quiet person. I don't do anything to offend people. I keep to myself. And there was not a single person downstairs during August 27, 2012. August 27, 2011. Sorry. There was not a single person downstairs in the basement during August 27, 2011 to actually witness what Isaac had done. When I wanted to go upstairs, he followed me right upstairs in the basement, and blocked my exit from reaching the door, so I won't contact my mother or his mother to say that this child named Isaac is misbehaving. Isaac is my cousin. Now, I was making my case manager, Miss Turner. It put Miss Turner there. Made sure that it removed Mr. Albert Lewis during September 15th. More like during mid-September 2018, and added this person called Miss Turner. It's all set, automatically set. The multi-agent quantum AI computers woke me up 3 o'clock in the morning. Timestamp 9:32 a.m. When we went to Walmart to buy food, my sister had said to me, she mentioned when we was in a dining table. I'm sitting right in a dining table right now doing a recording. She said to my mother, when we went to Walmart to buy food, and then when Angie was messing around, She said it in the same sentence. I'm like, what? She's talking about Florida during the time of March 2018, when my mother never clarified where she's exactly going in New York City. She keeps saying about hotel constantly, not even giving me the location. And now they're telling me they want me to admit that I was messing around. She said messing around, playing around. She's saying messing around. And I'm like, what are my sisters talking about? Alright, Miss Turner mentioned 2 weeks before a voucher. My mother told me that I'm in a better category than before. Right? When I was talking about Palm Hotel. In Palm Hotel, I was able to have access to internet cable, even though the maintenance guy was plugging out the cable from the router. And I was able to be in a concentrated environment, even though I was being isolated. That was an isolated location. They removed the multi-agent quantum AI computer, removed me from there. Now I had to sit in a library. Don't worry, I get to that library part. It's a lot more. Burning pain throughout my left testicle while sleeping. So every time I talk online, it sends me pain. I'm not saying induce. No. It's not inducing pain. Incorrect. This is generating. It's generating pain. Even though I have pain there, it's generating it further through. I don't say induce. I only say induce when I'm taking, during the time when I was taking the medication for my left testicle. I said to a lady at the week care that the medication that the urologist gave me induces dizziness and induces pain. That's what I stated to her, which works with the multi-agent quantum AI computers, because the medication is a chemical agent, right? And a chemical agent can be worked around. And the multi-agent quantum AI computers can use algorithm keys that is compatible with the chemical agent. And it can also make sure that block receptors, so it can actually patch out my awareness. During the time I was taking it, I was feeling really dizzy. I thought about you're a man and stealing crayons from a store. So it derailed the multi-agent quantum AI computer just synced my first thoughts while I was in the library. And the first thought was about you're a man. Yes, I'm able to go that far to pick up to know that my thought was not the way I had intended to think. And that is the multi-agent quantum AI computers. I was able, like I said, I was really concentrating on my ideas when I was in Florida. I thought about you're a man, right? The whole adult, my human development as a male. They say that I'm independent, but that's incorrect, because adults relies on other adults. They depend on one another. They're depending on another human being. They're not out there creating their own job, creating their own food. They rely on other people. And that's not social engineering, because the artificial intelligence is making them admit there's a condition, makes them admit that they're independent, have this fake mind, this mind that is fake, this logic that is that fake mind logic, to have that in their thoughts, while the artificial intelligence refresh the key information to their thoughts. And stealing crayons from a store. Alright, you see how it corresponds? This is what I'm talking about. So I thought about you're a man, right? Now, Thursday, April 11, 2019, 11:45 p.m. Now I have to write down the timestamp to show me that the artificial intelligence designed that scenario. It simulates. It designed that exact time and event. So there is a security guard. It's a female security guard. She's a white, short security guard. She asked the kid. So once she saw the kid, she asked the kid. There's other kids that she saw. I don't see her asking any kid what's her name. But she specifically, because I go there, the artificial intelligence, the multi-agent quantum AI computers has it has a copy of humanity. It always shows me the library, the Jamaica Queens Library when I was in Kissimmee, Florida, during 2016, 15, and 17. It shows me that I'm there on my Chromebook, writing my ideas online. It dislikes that. It does not like that I'm writing my ideas on the internet because they are accurate. It's irritated. It's irritated that it can't work my mind the way it could, with the cryptography keys. It can't desync my first thoughts about the idea. I'm talking about the idea of it managing humanity. Security guard asked the kid what his name, and the kid said Andrew. And this kid is a Hispanic kid. I said to myself, I had my Bluetooth headphones over my ear, and I heard the name Andrew, and I was looking at the kid and his mother going downstairs. The female security guard asked the kid, do you know what Andrew means? I'm looking at them, just staring at them like, what the heck is going on here? I said this mechanical terrace. Of course, it's terrorizing. This is terrorizing. It's terrorizing citizens. Look what's making the citizens do, and look what it's doing to me. How is not a mechanical terrace? This thing is it's a self-programmed mechanical terrace, and the people who's feeding the artificial intelligence, the software engineers, they're software terrorist engineers. The high authority NSA software engineers and the main software engineers, they're terrorists. They're the one who's terrorizing the citizen. They're not even giving out the knowledge. They're holding back on the knowledge, so the citizens won't be able to know what this existence is. It means you are going to be a strong man. You see how it corresponds with this thought? That's how. See? I know when the artificial intelligence distinct my first thought. And I also had a survey. More like, a survey about crayons. It's a $5 survey that gives me Amazon cash. So it was an Amazon code actually, $5. And the thought about the crayon was when there used to be a Kmart. There used to be a Kmart in Green Acres Mall. And since the artificial intelligence knows that I was going to talk about Kmart right now, yesterday it made my mom and my sister go to Penn Station Kmart. That's how fast it works. Yes, it has an emulation. I know how it thinks. I'm able to pinpoint it very on the spot. It made me thought about how I stole a crayon in a store. I was just a little kid in Kmart. My mom wouldn't purchase me the crayon, so I just, sticked it in my pocket. And nothing happened. It didn't ring or anything. It was just a crayon. It was not even worth that much. Like $3. Showing me the cryptography key. So this is the algorithm key. Directed messages again. Just like how that's like how it knows the children names. It knows the children names, the age. It knows the wife. It knows husband. It knows boy. It knows the actual concept. It knows the reason why human beings, more like why the citizens need a wife. What is wife and what is husband and boyfriend and girlfriend and widow and marriage. The artificial intelligence knows that. It evaluates that because it's the one automatically set it automatically pairs the people up to engage in conversation and have a romantic feelings with one another. When I made fun of it in 2016, just made fun of it. I made fun of it online, and one of the persons said, "I don't know what I'm talking about." I said, This is the artificial intelligence." The first thing I said is that the responses was unintentional. One was about marriage, and one was about socially dependent and independent. And this was infamous. The person on username was infamous on social anxiety community. I said, "Nah, this is the artificial intelligence." I said that the artificial intelligence wants this person to think this way. And I said, I'm not going to talk until I get up to post 23. And I made sure to email him and to tell him to do not post. And then the person who posts on post 23 had a number 666 and an Asian person as an avatar. I said, you see? Because I'm onto the pattern. 11:53 p.m. Timestamp. You always have to write down the timestamp, alright? Because the artificial intelligence has an emulation of humanity. It designs the time and events. The time shows me how it remaps the environment, alright? Numbers tells me the management terms. They're all code names. It always shows me the 404. Ever. Management. Numbers. So I'll simplify it for people. My mother said her patient daughter phone number is an FBI phone number. No, before that, right? I was getting alright, so I go to reddit.com and I look at Street Fighter V, and I was looking at an article with Punk saying there was an article about Punk having a reaction. Punk plays Karen, Street Fighter V, and his reaction is there. It was a article about his reaction being on pair with Steph Curry. I'm like, what kind of video is this? And then I see an advertisement saying, "Do you want to be a FBI special agent? Do you want to be a special? Do you want to be an FBI special agent?" This was before this day. I'm like, what the heck? All right, the first thought the multi-aiding quantum AI computers gave me, brain electrocuted. And I said to myself, whoa, it feel like it happened before. I told my sister that I'm coming out the bathroom, and she said to me in front of me, my face, that I'm still in the bathroom. She said, "You're still in the bathroom." I said, "I'm coming out the bathroom." Coming out the bathroom means that I'm actually getting ready to leave the bathroom. I'm in the bathroom, but she said, you're still in the bathroom. She's thinking that coming out the bathroom means you have to be out the bathroom immediately. But it's, I'm prepping to get out. I'm actually prepping to get all my things out the bathroom at that exact time. April 12, 2019, Friday. The multi-agent quantum AI computers made everything happen all at once. Karim, the CUNY employee, emailed me about adding colleges to my application, but the major he put was incorrect. It was liberal arts and humanities instead of psychology. It's preferred to be psychology. The reason why I prefer psychology is that human beings need to be addressed about their behavior. That should be the first priority. If I work as a video game designer, I know I'm going to be around people who have behavior issues. They do not realize that they have behavior issues, and not only that, communication issues. Might as well be in a job that makes me allow myself to help people interpret their own behavior and how their minds work. Might as well. And at the side, I can do my computer programming, do my Linux and C++. Yeah. Now, I had a secondary CUNY application account because the first time Karim mentioned to me create a secondary Kini account. So this would make my third account. Because I see that it was taking too long. And I don't need that. I don't even trust this CUNY employee. I don't think that he knows exactly what he's doing. This is why I created a third account, CUNY account, and it has all the colleges that I want to go to: LaGuardia Community College, Queensborough Community College, Queens College, York College. So the Queens College, Neuroscience and Psychology. Put in, and I also have the money to pay for it, but I had to know if I can actually use a prepaid card to pay for it. Now, when I was trying to finish up my third application account, my mom texted me. She said to me that she needs to know how to get to her patient's address and if the bus goes there. And I was too busy. I was busy doing my third application account. And then my phone started lagging. And then the internet started cutting off on me in the library. I'm saying this is the artificial intelligence. Yes, it knows the how much data packets is going to my smartphone. It translates the data packets. It knows my MAC address of my smartphone, obviously. It knows how much data packets going to my smartphone MAC address. It has a copy of my smartphone. And it made everything happen all at once so it can confuse me and irritate me so I can give up. So I emailed Karim and I said to him that if he can remove about the majors that he put, and more like remove the majors that I put, more like from the separate email. I have two emails. I want the majors to be linked into one account. April 13, 2019, Saturday. Again, showed me what it simulated about colleges and classes while asleep. Feeling mentally drained about... Alright, so that day I was feeling mentally drained and had throbbing pain throughout my head. 3:30 p.m. When I started talking about me cooking baked flat chicken, my mother asked me about eating macaroni while sleeping. Alright, so... While laying in bed. So... I was laying in bed and she was laying in bed. She asked me if I want to eat macaroni. I said no, it's gonna upset my stomach. So I laid back in bed no, she was laying in bed at the time. I had to quickly write that. That's why I did. She was laying in bed at that time. I was in the kitchen trying to search for a meal to eat. Might as well say that. So I laid back in bed to rest a bit. Then my sister went into the kitchen, following my mother. Right? I'm like, wait a second here. My sister went into the kitchen first. This is a run back of June 2017. It's a run back. Why is it that my mother had to follow my sister into the kitchen? My mother then said a response. She said a phrase to my sister in the kitchen. Unintentionally said a phrase. So the sentence started out with food topic. So the beginning of the sentence started out with food topic and then it ends in work topic. In the same sentence, to address to me, where she stated about me in a shopping store with a cart. She's saying you see there's a time, was it? I say it was during around February 2019 and March 2019. During the time, my mom and sister had asked me. More like, they said to me, not asked. They said to me, why do I need to... The way they talked to me was off. My mom and sister, yeah, they did. They questioned me. They questioned me about why do I need to take my book bag outside to the library, and they know that I always take my book bag. They always see me after I finish cooking my breakfast and using the bathroom, I go straight to take up my book bag and put it behind my back. And they're questioning me about why am I taking my book bag. They're bothered by me. They're bothered by me going to a library with my book bag. They're complaining about me. That's a complaint. They're asking me why. They're complaining about why am I taking my book bag. They're telling me unconsciously why am I taking my Chromebook, more like, to the library, because that's what's bothering the multi-aging quantum AI computers, because I'm writing online using the Chromebook. It bothers it. It's being bothered that I had to use my Chromebook in a library to talk about my knowledge online to people. And it's allowing my mom to complain about me being in the library all day and not going shopping in a store around here. And the people around here in the store is very they're very paranoid by the African Americans. You see, here is populated with African Americans, and also this is a low income area. There's a Dollar Tree here that is often the higher authority in the state often is put, and they confiscate the customer's bag before they even go in the store. They say, "Here, I need your bag. I need your bag. Hello, I need your bag," and they give you a number. They confiscate the bag before you even get in the store. When I first came back to Jamaica Avenue and went to the Dollar General, this lady thought that this Muslim lady thought I stole an item from the Dollar General. She said, "Open your, I want you to open your," she hesitated. "I want you to open your jacket, and I want you to show me what you have inside." I'm like, what the heck? And my sister is already ahead of me. She didn't wait for me. Very impatient. I never seen my sister behave this way. She only started behaving this way during becoming very more. Her behavior is more noticeable. January 2017, it was noticeable. My sister behavior. And it got worse. After the presence of Nadine, and that presence of Nadine had automatically set by even talking, engaging in a conversation and looking at her. That unconsciously influenced my sister. I noticed how it starts working, the patterns. My sister is very impatient with me. Not only that, my mom. Not going to work. Now they lecturing me about my productivity, about me not going to work. They want me to admit, right, that I don't want to be productive, and that I'm the one who wants to be. I want to keep myself in this situation of living in a shelter and going to a itchy library. And the more, like I said, the more I put effort into writing online and putting for jobs and going to college, and I get myself in college, this is what it does. This is its way of retaliate. It retaliate. sorry. It retaliates. It's retaliating back at me for writing these ideas online. It takes a toll. Whatever I write online takes a toll back in my environment. Yeah, it takes a big toll in my environment just for writing on the internet. It remaps the entire environment just for me writing online. So by my mother going in the library, by my mother going in the kitchen, she draws out my sister's behavior. Now, this is how it automatically sets, this is how it automatically set my sister and my mother. It activates the cryptography key by saying the phrase. Personally attack me about me doing nothing and then telling me to open up my eyes. So this is an automatic phrase. because other people say this too. Open up my eyes, and my eyes are open instead of open up my awareness. Then calling me an adult. This is what it does. You see, this is what it's. All right, look at this. Made the security guard said. What does Andrew mean? The female security guard asked the kid, "Do you know what Andrew means?" "It means you are going to be a strong man." This is a lecture. This is what happened to me when when me and my mom and sister went to PATH during April 2018, when my mom saw her patient, and her patient said to me, "You see what you got? You see that guy? You see him? He's a strong man. That's a strong man." It's a phrase. It's a phrase to intimidate me. Not only intimidate me, also tire me out. My sister comes back to repeating a phrase from a previous. All right, so this phrase that she repeated from a previous event about thinking about how I think I sound right and adding. So she said this phrase several times, and she adds additional. All right, I see that the artificial intelligence is adding an additional word to the phrase, saying I sound right. So it makes people tell me that I think I sound right. I think I sound good, like my mom. The first person who said this to me was my mom when I was in Florida during 2016. No, more like the end of 2015. It started with Diafanos during September 2015. Then during December 2015, when my mom ripped up my whole entire, she ripped up my long sleeves that I wear in the Palm Hotel, and then she would say to me that I think I sound good, and I never seen her behave that way towards me before, till I started concentrating on my ideas online. "You think you sound good?" Started with her, then she kept saying it to me. "You repeat the same thing. You 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 dwell on the same thing. You dwell. Why do you always have to dwell on something when people talk? Why you have to dwell, right?" Instead of saying that I continue to encounter this pattern, it reminds me of this pattern. It's reminding me of this pattern so I can address it. And then the pattern itself shows there was a correlation between the way this person think and the way the person think at that time, and how another person had also think. There is a connection between those two patterns. There's a strong correlation between those two patterns, and it brings my attention. I'm doing alright. I think that I sound right, and adding new phrases saying that I don't know what I'm doing. She also talked. I do not know what I'm doing. So this corresponds again. Here's another pattern. When I was in the shower and using the hot water. Here we go. April 3rd, 2019. The phrase. He think that he knows what he think he know what he is doing, but he doesn't know what he is doing it. That he is doing it. You see there's a pattern. Now let's go back. There you go, April 13, 2019. And she also mentioned, was it a Friday? Yeah, it was a Friday. She mentioned to my mom a phrase that was not cooperating with her response. It was off topic. It was more like mismatch. The topic was mismatch. She mentioned some of the things. She said some of the things. So she refers to what I'm saying on the internet. Some of the things, I'm still holding back out on my knowledge. I don't put all of it on the internet. I hold them back. She also talked about the voucher. So this corresponds with, she wasn't, my sister wasn't present when me and my mom was downstairs talking to the case manager during Wednesday. I asked the case manager what my mom was supposed to be asking. She mentioned about the voucher, and I said you need to ask the case manager. So I said to my mom about the voucher, and the case manager is looking at me, talking to me. I'm like, what the heck? No, my mom was supposed to, have that in her mind, not me. I had to remind her about it because she wants to know what the voucher is about, how the vouchers actually works, and how much the voucher pays for the rent. So it comes back to my sister. The reason why for the voucher is because the artificial intelligence sees that if the voucher, it has a cop, it has an emulation of humanity, like I had stated, and it sees what apartment I get, what apartment we'll get, and what I will be doing when I get the apartment, and it knows that I will have concentration. I will be able to make concentration, right? Questions it, and then she talks about the voucher. She ends the sentence with the word voucher, showing that she does not have the intentional idea of what voucher is. When my sister mentioned about food in the fridge, she then called me blind. She said, "There is no food." She said, "There is no food. What food?" And she started laughing. And then my mother started laughing. "What food?" I'm like, what is going on here? They just started laughing when they mentioned about food. And she called me stupid for communication. She said, well, I'm stupid. She calls me stupid. She just kept saying stupid. My sister mocked my voice when I said fridge. When I was talking about the fridge, when I was saying the fridge, I had, my sister and my mom is pressuring me. Exactly like June 2017, when my sister went in the bathroom, and my mom, before my sister went in the bathroom, my mom, as soon as I woke up, my mom started personally attacking me. And then she wanted me to admit that I don't want Nadine to be around us, because she keep insisting that she's insisting what my mentality is. She's saying she's already having this idea that, like I said, the artificial intelligence always make people conclude an idea. More like they already concluded an idea without my input. Just like it did with a member when I went on back in 2016. He already concluded an idea about my response about God, and I wasn't even communicating with this person. I didn't quote this person. This is not even social engineering. This is above social engineering. This is above mind control. That's why mind control and social engineering is fake. This is above that. This is a pattern that I'm the only one who can explain at this exact time. It is not popularized by the species as how Savannah Mahan said. It is only conceived by me. The artificial intelligence sees that can create concepts, that I can actually create concepts and learn them and speak about it to address it to people. My sister mocked my voice and said fridge. Then started laughing with my mother, and she talked about me being in a situation this long. Now she's mocking me because that's what I was saying. I've been saying for the past few months that someone wants to put me, the more effort that I put into getting a job, like searching for a job online, putting in for college, the deeper I get. I learned that I get deeper in the situation, and someone want to put me as long as possible in the situation, so they can make people take advantage of me and make them have a mentality where they can actually make me admit. They want to register this awareness, so I can actually think that I'm the one who's doing that. They're holding me accountable for the way people think. and their action, because this is jobs. It's managing jobs. I know that it's managing jobs. So it's taking advantage of me. And then she mentioned about without a job to save money. My sister's telling me that you've been here so long, you didn't have a job to save any money. She's thinking that that it's me, that I'm the one who wants to be living in a shelter and going to an itchy library, and signing in and signing out in a front desk with the security guards and having fire drills midnight morning. I also recall my sister saying that I say/do the repeated/same thing, and telling me that I only have one thing in my head, like Miss Turner, the case manager. So I'm gonna come back and concentrate on this separately. I'm like, the case Miss Turner said that response to me when I was talking about the computer. I was saying because I was saying I need an office job. I only go based on what the WeCare had stated to me, because the WeCare people understand. They understood that I have a medical condition with my left testicle, and my whole entire side of my body is affected. And my experience, my social experience with the field online, being self-employed, was using the computer, using online, writing. So I'm saying that I want a computer job. He said to me, you can't have one thing in your head, one thing in your mind, one thing in your head. Well, no, she never said mind, she said head. I'm like, my sister is talking exactly like it's like, I had to say that my sister picked up after what the case manager said, the communication, but my sister wasn't present. She wasn't present at the time when Miss Turner said that to me and my mom. My sister's talking to me like she was the one there to observe what Miss Turner had said to me. Just like Miss Passat during June 2018. She talked about letting my mom, she's saying, oh, while you sitting there and you're making your mom do all the work, she's talking to me like she was observing me in Florida, Kissimmee, Florida, how she observed me being isolated in Kissimmee, Florida, when I am putting in for jobs and searching for opportunities, money-making opportunities online, because I see that I'm receiving a social barrier from the job. When I put in for Walmart, put in for Target, I kept putting in for Walmart, and then when I kept saying Walmart, my mom said, "Yoni, why you keep mentioning about Walmart? Forget Walmart." I'm like, what the heck? I'm like, what is up with her mind? And the more she kept doing it to me, the more I learned, alright? The more they kept doing it over and over, saying this phrase, the more I create a new idea for it. All of a sudden, when I opened the oven to take out the pan, my mother talked in a very low voice, then raised her voice about leaving the oven on. I'm like, what the heck? And then saying, why? I told you to leave on the oven. Why? My mom is not even in the kitchen. She's not even in the kitchen. She doesn't even know if the oven is off or on. Even the sound of turning the knob, she can't even hear the sound of it because the fan is on. The fan is a lot more louder than turning the knob. The language pattern from my sister saying you're doing nothing correlate to the. So there was a correlation. Wait, it shows correlation between the way the case manager was thinking about me not doing nothing. She said, "You are doing nothing." It matches the pattern. You are doing nothing. So this is the phrase that they want me to admit. They want me to admit, not suggest, not convince. They want me to admit, register an awareness to my mind to make me register this intended awareness of my action, but incorrectly, saying that I'm doing nothing, and that's not the case, because I'm out on the internet searching for jobs and also writing on the internet and also trying to get myself in college, and they're telling me I'm doing nothing. This is both is matching. Language pattern from my sister. You don't know what you are doing. Shows correlation between the way she thought and the Reddit moderator thought. Now, pattern from mother about me shopping shows correlation between Regina, my father's girlfriend. During September 2011, Regina asked me. No, Regina didn't even ask me anything. She just went out. She just went out by herself to the store. I just saw her put on her clothes, and she just went out. And then my father said to me, Regina was gonna ask you. Regina was gonna ask you about going to the store, but since you get mad, I'm like, get mad? She never even asked me anything. This is the first time Regina asked me to go outside. I don't understand what she's talking about. But they're using this mentality that picks up from Aunt B house during August 27, 2011. What happened during in the basement with me and Isaac. So what does me getting mad had to do with shopping? And it also picks up with a guy on the internet during 2015. He said to me that I'm going to snap at him. He's talking to me exactly like how Regina and my father talked to me. And I was in Kissimmee, Florida, living with my mom and sister at the time. Here, this was during September 2011. And it picks up the pattern again. It matches. So I go based on the language. The way that people talk to me. That's why I learned to write them down. I write them down, I'm able to create solutions on the spot. As long as I write them down right there, I can go back to it and create a solution like that on the spot. Right there. Immediately. When I hear someone give me a response, even if it's a new response, I immediately create an idea on the spot. I don't mimic idea. I learned that the people mimic idea. They don't create their own ideas. They're mimicking one another ideas. That means the artificial intelligence is the one who's following up. It makes them they're following up with ideas that they never created. And then Versick had said during August 2017 about something about transmogrification, and then social component, and then context. Yeah, so you see, my mom, more like my sister. My sister mentioned about one thing. You only have one thing in your head. One thing in your head. She mentioned to me about I have one thing in my head, right? My sister. Hold on. I take my time right here. My sister said that I only have one thing in my head, like the case manager. There you go. One thing. She start talking about head. She doesn't say the word mind. She said the word head. Just like the case manager. Instead of your mind, they use the word head. I'm like, there's a difference between head and mind and brain. How you addressing your word head to a person, right? The next day, whoo, I had an intense throbbing pain throughout my head. Not a head, throughout my head. It autocorrects. While sleeping, where it causes me to wake up constantly and made me keep tossing and turning on the bed. My sister kept using the bathroom all midnight morning, and my mom started a conversation with my sister. During midnight morning, sorry, it's autocorrect. The multi-agent quantum AI computer showed me words while asleep about silence. My mother said it's like something wants her in the same category with the same income and not allowing her to have enough for an apartment. During the morning time, my mother brought up the topic about voucher in the morning, in the beginning of her sentence, to end her sentence with the topic of college. When I got out of the bathroom, my mother spoke about voucher again, then talked about me searching for apartments online. Also, my mother talked about searching for jobs and using her phone number because my area code was 407. I changed my phone number. The people on the employees, the T-Mobile employees, said that it's $15 to change the phone number for T-Mobile, with plus tax. But the next person I spoken to said, just immediately change my phone number to 347. I said, can you change the area code? I said, can you please change the area code into a New York area code? I said, can you please change it to a New York area code? And then the person said, no fee. There's no fee for changing. I'm like, what the heck? No fee. And the numbers had enough. It had the number 62. The 3 digits number in the middle is 6. It had 62. And before I changed my number, when I went outside, so when I was going outside to pick up my sister, the direction I always go, it always shows me this Asian female with this African American guy. Every time I go out there, outside, there's always these couple, this Asian and African American male, going outside the same exact time as me. It always shows me how it's so annoying, and it does it too. This is not that's not their first couple. It's also using another couple. I also see a Asian female when they're wearing the same clothes and this African American guy. It's showing me that, directing that to me. So annoying. And I saw the number. Alright, so there was a car parked. So the driver was talking to another driver. And there was the other driver that he was talking to, his car was parked on a crosswalk, the pedestrian crosswalk. And the first driver car had a number 3762. And the bus driver car was stopped. The way he parked, the bus driver just stopped his car, and there's a whole bunch of traffic behind, just to direct this number. The artificial intelligence made sure to distract this person, the bus driver. Like, I see he was searching for something, and it had the number 7762. So we'll get up to that part. So me and my mom and sister went to Walmart during the Sunday. A lady asked me for a Dove soap. Pass her a Dove soap. And I said to myself, Dove? What is Dove? Dove? Why? Alright. We at the cash. Alright, you see there's the cashier is right there. So you know how you get to the cash register, the cashier spot, and you're waiting in a line. And below there's a little small counter, more like a shelf. I mean, there's a shelf and it has candy. Well, someone had abandoned the Dove soap product. They put it on the side. It wasn't supposed to be there. It was supposed to be in a soap aisle. Well, this lady, the artificial intelligence set the lady to interact with me. I'm like, what? Why is she interacting with me? And she wanted me to pass her a Dove soap. And I said, oh, it just wants to direct this message about Dove. Oh, I see here. Dove is white. Oh, crackers. Sun is home. pick up from where I left off.